Hey lore fans, Callie here with the Speculation Station with another video discussing Shadowlands, and today we're going to be discussing some of the additional realms that we may see in 9.1 and beyond, with some that have been hinted so far, and we're going to be looking at some of those clues. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. To start off, let me read a quote from Steve Denuser when asked in an interview if we might see the old gods again. His reply, I think, ties into what I'm going to be talking about here, and that reply was, so if you think about other magical creatures and think what happens when you kill them on Azeroth, where do they go? There's the potential for things like that kind of happen. We try to have this cosmology of the way things work, and that's something you can apply to other things. And I think the old gods are an interesting case where, we defeated one version of them, and who knows if another manifestation will eventually take place. End quote. Now, I thought that quote was interesting because it leaves the door open to saying the old gods and other magical creatures that we encounter may have a similar fate as the demons did. As they're killed, they're returned to their plane of origin to be permanently put down. You would have to kill them there. I think that ties into some important things we've seen so far with Shadowlands, in that we've only seen these four covenants in those realms, but we've seen some clues that hint there are other areas, and that's what I want to talk about today. And first one I want to start with, of course, is Helheim and Thros. Both gave us glimpses into the parts of the Shadowlands that are not accessible in the top tier that we have access to in 9.0, and I think they're not alone. Zakan in the novel Shadows Rising, and if you haven't read it, let me go ahead and give a spoiler warning. He's given a vision of Starfang in the afterlife, and in that vision Starfang is in a peaceful place, and he's with his family and he's at peace. So far none of the areas match that we've seen in that upper tier. Another perfect example, and this one a lot of people pointed out, is Bridenbrad. Crusader Bridenbrad, way back in Wrath, the Light took care of their own in a quest that I would recommend everyone complete. We see Adal and the Naru rescue Bridenbrad from the brink of a fate worse than death, as he is slowly dying to the plague of undeath, destined to become the Scourge, but Adal seemingly takes his soul away to the afterlife. So far no areas match a light heaven where we would find Bridenbrad or Fordring and possible other paladins, priests, or Naru. Could be they begin and end in a light plane, something similar to the Denuser quote. Another area I think we may see later in Shadowlands is the Dragon Isles. I know, I keep tying the dragon aspects to Shadowlands in every video, and here's another chance. BFA ended with a lot of clues pointing to a continued dragon storyline, and a dead giveaway to me that there is more waiting for us is the absence of Malygos and Nefarian in Shadowlands, two prominent characters from lore, and with the return of Wrathion in BFA, a reunion with his dad would be an awesome storyline. But where are they? The Dragon Isles. Yes, those isles I think will be a separate plane that will be in the Shadowlands that will serve both origin and destination for Dragon. Now, Ysera I think is different. I think her relation to the Emerald Dream caused her to be drawn to Ardenweald. Also, I think that's going to be helping to what I believe is the plan to spread the nightmare further. But that's a video for another time. And of course the Drust, as I mentioned before with Thros, the Drust are back. And with that may be Thros. The Drust storyline is likely to continue, possibly leading us into Thros to deal with them once and for all, possibly in a raid 9.1 or beyond. These are just a couple examples of realms that I think we could potentially see. My speculation at this point goes back to a quote from the Black Morass. The final boss begins the encounter with the quote, "We will shatter this clockwork universe." Of course, he is a member of the Infinite Dragonflight, and at the time I'm sure it meant something different, but now, if we can believe Chronicle Volume 1, it states that initially there was just light, and in the areas where there were no light was the void. And then of course now we're starting to learn that there's these entities known as the First Ones. I would speculate that when we hear the machine of death, that it's really the machine of the universe. I think they've created this system that cycles souls from one living existence, and then death feeds them to the Shadowlands. The top tier, I think, processes the majority of souls, while there's another tier and other realms that souls can go to completely rest and not be dragged back through the machine and possibly reused or resurrected, or in the case of the Maw, hammered into weapons and armor. And I think this was established by the first ones, and that's why Sylvanas says that this world is a prison, that it's drawn into that machine, and undeath is another example of this endless cycle that she can never break free of. And after seeing the other side and the Shadowlands, she knows more than anyone what this is, and that there is no true rest for her or for any of us potentially. And I'm hoping we get to see more of that as time goes on, as the expansion goes on. But again, just wanted to drop a real quick one, talk about a couple of these realms that I'm hoping we'll see down the road. Please, if there's any more that you can think of, please throw them in the comments below. We'll discuss them there. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to get more videos out. Feel free to contact me at Twitter. Of course, that's at Khalion. That's Khaliion. Or send me an email at Khaliionwow@gmail.com. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Appreciate any comments and likes, and you have a great day.